What's the answer to the first one?
0.3 squared. 3/10 squared. Ooh, yeah. Yeah.
That is how far you would take that one, to one of those two, because there is no variable, so you always evaluate.
Oh, what? You want us to do that?
If there is no variable, you always evaluate.
Sweet.
This one is super tricky,
Yeah, it's so hard.
but it's not really. It's not really. What do you notice about that and that?
They're like two.
They're the same base. So this is, I'm going to call that A. So this is a to the negative 8, and this is a to the 6, isn't it? What would you do with that? Add them to get a to the negative 2, correct?
Yeah.
Now a is really a over 1, right? What does the negative 2 do to a fraction? Flips it. So this is really negative 2/3 squared, which is 4/9.
Flips it. I forgot about that. No, you know what?
This one is 1.4 to the 7th. You can't evaluate that in your head, at least I can't. So you would go to a calculator to get the answer. I know that, so that means you got to leave it like that. Even though I said you should evaluate. That you can't evaluate in your head. Yes? Oh, it's to the 9th.
It's to the 9th?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, it is. That's what I thought.
This one
I tried. I didn't evaluate. I just left it as is just to see if I got it.
is 7 to the 2/3 over 7 squared, which is 7 to the 2/3 minus 2, which is 7 to the 2/3 minus 6/3, which is 7 to the negative 4/3, which is 1 over 7 to the positive 4/3. That's the final answer, but you could also write it as 1 over the cubed root of 7 to the 4th, because there is no such thing as a negative exponent. Yes, you move them to where they become positive. No. You could, if you really wanted to, you could go 1 over the cubed root of 7 to the 4th, which would be 1 over 7 cube root 7, which then technically you can't have a cube root on the bottom, so you would multiply that by the cubed root of 7 squared, cube root of 7 squared, which would get you the cubed root of 7 squared, cube root of 49 over 49. That would be the best possible answer you could go to. But I bet $1 million nobody went that far.
Well, not by myself.
Did you really? Oh, I lose $1 million. Guess I'm not moving Ecuador.
Yeah, I did the same thing, except I'm kind of using my exponents basic brain. I simplified it to cube root of 7 squared over cube root of 7 to the 6th. And then
To the 6th?
Yeah, because you have...
Oh, yeah, I see what you're doing.
You have a 1 there, and then you could get...
Yep, so you went cube root 7 squared over cube root 7 to the 6th. Then 2 minus 6 is still cubed root of 7 to the negative 4, which is still 1 over cube root of 7 to the 4.
I just forgot to put the 1 over.
All right,
A lot of catching up.
this one is x to the 5th y to the negative 2, which becomes x to the 5th over y squared. This one is 2a squared b to the 5.
2a squared?
Uh-huh. Everybody good with 142?
Yeah. I just gotta remember all my exponents.
This is 1.5 to the 10th. Excuse me. This is 2ab squared.
2ab squared? Oh,
Does everybody know why?
because exponents divide.
Because that 1/3 has to go to all of them, so that 8 becomes the cube root of 8, which is 2. 3 times 1/3 is 1, a to the 1. 6 times 1/3 is 6/3, which is b squared.
I didn't show the 8.
This one is 2. Over a to the 4th cube root b. Or 2b to the 1/3 over a to the 4th. I would accept both. Who just Mr. Myers me from over there?
I did.
What you need, brother?
On number 8, it says you had 2 there, and
Mm-hmm.
The cube root of 8.
Okay.
cube root of 8.
Well, the 1/3 has to go to everything inside, right?
Yeah.
And 8 to the 1/3 is the cubed root of 8 to the first power. Cube root of 8 to the first power is 2.
Okay.
This one, 2 choices. You can simplify inside or you can distribute in the 1/2. I like to simplify inside. Inside those brackets is 4, a to the negative 4, b to the 1/2. Why am I leaving it negative? Because there's more to come. All that to the 1/2, which is 2, a to the negative 2, b to the 1/4, which is 2b to the 1/4 over a squared, which is 2/4 root b over a squared. Both of them are acceptable.
That was close.
Yeah? Now, this, I think, printed right there for you guys too, which is a super pain in the butt. Did it?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if all of you do math the way all high school kids do math, which is wrong, you are going to put the 2 and the 3 in here now, which would be a silly thing to do. Why? Because it's not simplified. The word simplified means to make simple. Why would you put the 2's and the negative 2's and 3's in there when there's a million x's and y's? Why wouldn't you simplify it first?
It doesn't matter as long as you...
It does matter because you guys make silly calculation errors because your computation is bad.
It's still the same base stuff. You just have to simplify it. Doesn't matter if it's an answer.
All right.
See the debate.
So this is x squared y, which is negative 2 squared times 3, which is 12.
That's the answer.
Yes. Should you have simplified first?
Oh, it's by 3. It's by 3. No, I had it. It's just I didn't multiply by 3.
This one messes people up again. Where should you start in 12 to simplify?
Where did you start? X 4, 4, 3, 4, 4, 3, X 3.
Should you distribute this in? I wouldn't because of this. Brackets exponents. That negative x cubed is going to happen 4 times, isn't it? Right? So that right there, what I've highlighted is negative x cubed 4 times, correct? Negative, 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 negative. what's it going to end up as? Positive x to the 12th, correct? A negative base to an even exponent will always end up positive. So there, the green is that. Then I add x to the 4th. What's that? What is that? Because that's the green, becomes that. X to the 16th cubed, which is x to the 48th, yes? X is negative 2, so it's the same as positive 2 to the 48th, which is a number that is too big for your calculator, I think. I can't remember how big 2 to the 48th is.
Kind of different, but they didn't get the right answer.
This screws you guys up. That negative, you guys are bad at seeing that this and this are the same answer. But this is a different answer. All right? Use this example. X is negative 2. So what does this become? What goes in for x here? Negative 2 squared, which is negative 2 times negative 2, which is 4, correct? What goes in for x here? So it's negative 2, right? All squared. Negative negative 2 is positive 2 squared, which is 2 times 2, which is 4. Yeah? This is negative. What goes in for x? Negative 2 squared. Negative 2 squared is negative 2 times negative 2. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4, but there's a negative out in front. So this one is negative 4. These two, because they have even exponents, are the exact same thing. But x cubed and negative x cubed, that would be negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2, which would be negative 8. This is negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2, which is 2 times 2 times 2, which is positive 8. I mean, yeah. Everybody cool? It is a very subtle difference that you do not know to remember unless you actually understand exponents. If you are just trying to memorize 7 laws, you're going to get tripped up in this. Okay? Okay.
For that number 11, I just forgot about that when it said negative to an even exponent, they take out the negative.
Yes.
I did it right though.
Now, I'm going to erase all this because you've all seen it and it's recorded, and we'll deal with this question.
Yeah.
A sphere has a volume of 425. So that's 425 equals the volume of a sphere is 4 pi r cubed over 3. I need r, so it's just algebra. Get rid of the 3. Right? 3 times 400 is 1200. 3 times 25 is 75. 1275 equals 4 pi r cubed. Then I divide by 4 pi. Divide by 4 pi. Now, to do this division, if you're going to use your calculator, what must you remember? Brackets around the bottom. But I wouldn't even bother, because this is 1275 over 4 pi equals r cubed. How do you get rid of the cubed? You cube root. So this is a perfectly acceptable answer. Right?
Wait, that's the answer?
It's a perfectly acceptable answer.
Oh, because I kept trying to figure it out after I got my number.
And down here, a cone with equal height and radius has a volume of 18. Well, the volume of a cone is pi r squared h divided by 3. But what do we know about r and h? They're the same. So it's really, in this cone's case, pi r cubed divided by 3, isn't it? Because r and h are the same. Volume is 18 equals pi r cubed over 3. Multiply both sides by 3. 54 equals pi r cubed. 54 over pi equals r cubed. R equals the cube root of 54 over pi. Now, if you want to take that one step further, which is always good to show me as much math as you possibly can, that is the same as the cubed root of 54 over the cubed root of pi. 54 is 27 times 2, so that's 3 cube root 2 over the cube root of pi. Technically, you wouldn't want that there, so you would multiply this by the cube root of pi squared, cube root of pi squared, which gets me pi on the bottom, and 3 cube root 2 pi squared up top, if you were completely finishing it to the end of what you can do. Yeah.
How come when I calculate the radius of that sphere back there, I didn't leave it like that? I tried to figure it out completely, and it would give me an answer, and when I punched it into the formula for the radius, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't give me the volume of the sphere.
You probably got the wrong volume here. This volume, if you use your calculator,
It gets you about 10.
is, I don't know.
It gets you about 10.
I don't know. Let's check. 1275 divided by 4 pi is 101.
And then cube rooted
Cube root.
should be 10.
No, the cube root of 100 is not 10. The square root of 100 is 10. It's 4.66. Now, if I take 4.66 and I cube it, and I multiply it by 4, and I multiply it by pi, I get 1275.
I didn't use brackets.
Well, that'll bite you in the butt every time. G-Van. Of course I can. That's what I do. I will accept that. In a perfect world, you'd go all the way to there. Does everybody understand how I got from that to that? I didn't factor it. I simplified the cube root of 54, and then I rationalized the denominator. But I didn't really rationalize the denominator, did I? Because pi is an irrational number. Yeah? Yeah.